Welcome back to the Commercial Real Estate Show. I'm Michael Bull. Thanks for being with us. Well, today we're talking about the industrial real estate market in the U.S., the wild and woolly world of industrial real estate. Well, please welcome my guest now in Studio One. I have Sim Dowdy here. Sim is president of King Industrial. They're a respected industrial real estate brokerage firm with offices in Florida and Georgia. Sim, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Michael. Great to be here.
We also have Dane Pryor with us. He's a partner with Panattoni. Panattoni develops, leases, and owns properties in 278 cities in U.S., Canada, and Europe. Dane, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Michael. Good to be
we
here.
Appreciate it. And, you know, one of the big discussions about industrial real estate is internet sales and e-commerce and how that's driven the market, especially in some of these big boxes around the country. I know at Panattoni, you guys do a lot of that work. What do you guys feel, and Dane, if you'll start for us, what do you feel? Is that going to continue to grow? Is that continue to improve? Like I had one analyst that suggested on a show a while back that maybe some investors might want to be concerned with investing in a building that was leased by an internet-based user because maybe they'll move out of that building and not need it one day. That seems a little strange. What do you think about the future?
Well, it's we used to build buildings 400,000 or 500,000 square feet 15 years ago, and that was a big chunk. And today the trend with the e-com buildings is more in the 1 million to 1.5 million square feet, and you've got a lot more employees for the process of the e-commerce. Since you're not delivering on pallets through trucks, you're delivering, individual packages to individuals across the country. It's a much more labor-intensive process. So you've got more car parking, more employee parking, and that and the size of the buildings combined with the parking eats up a lot bigger site. So your coverage is a little bit lower. So your overall cost is going to be a little bit higher, and
so that must be driving demand for large flat pieces of land, right?
Large flat pieces of land are hard to find.
Right. Sim, what do you see? Is this trend going to continue to drive the industrial market?
Everybody I talk to says that it's 8% of total sales right now. It's going to go to 30% in a few years, so it's not going to stop anytime soon. And the comment about the people moving out of the space, they spend more money inside the building costs. They're not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. So the tenants are contributing a lot of TI on these buildings?
Absolutely. They're spending a lot of money, and it's high-paying jobs, so they're not going anywhere.
And what are some of the trends in these big, large, and new buildings as far as ceiling heights and automation and things?
We are generally seeing anything that's 500,000 square feet or more is going to 36-foot clear.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the e-com guys have asked for 40 feet, and it just becomes challenging for the sprinkler systems and lighting at those levels, but the 36 clear is pretty standard now.
Yeah, that's interesting. And these are big projects. So as a single tenant, how long is a typical lease on a property like that?
Generally 10, 15. We're seeing some 20-year requirements.
Okay, for the initial term.
Yes.
Well, that makes sense. If you're building a building that size, you might need a longer term to commit to building that for them, right? And what are some of the other trends you're seeing in the construction of these buildings? Are more of these users demanding LEED certified buildings? Are they willing to pay for it?
The capital is really driving a lot of the LEED certified buildings. Most of the buildings we do today would qualify or have many of the LEED certification characteristics in our buildings already. Mm-hmm. A lot of our capital partners would like to see LEED certified, and it's just a great long-term value enhancement to the property.
So the demand for LEED is from the equity side, not so much the debt side. They don't care, right?
The debt doesn't care. Users, it matters operationally. You want to give them the best value for the dollar.
Right, and they want the savings, but do they want to pay for the actual LEED certification?
It does get it gets down to that in a lot of cases, and sometimes they don't want to go for the LEED certification, but they want the LEED quality type characteristics.
Tim, what are you seeing in these
Well,
trends?
the official certification they have to pay for sometimes could be $200,000-$300,000, and so what they're doing is let's build it to that, let's get the savings, but let's not pay that fee.
Yeah.
You know, so their customers like it, their employees like it, and so they're going to do that. And developers are starting to do it in spec buildings because they may not be able to get a higher rent, but they feel they can lease a building quicker.
Interesting. And let's talk about new construction now. Are you beginning to see more spec building around the country, Sim?
We are. L.A. and Dallas and Houston, those places have been booming. Their vacancies are 4 or 5%. Chicago and Atlanta are now following suit. It took us a little bit longer to come back from the downturn just because we're so far back. But spec buildings are booming right now, and you're starting to see, and the build-to-suits are continuing because of the e-commerce. You know, they just can't take a normal building. 40-foot ceiling heights, they don't exist. So what do you think?
No, I think you're right. I think spec is very much in favor right now, but there's still a lot of build-to-suit activity that's happening.
Okay. And what about construction costs today? I think some people may think that construction costs are lower, land costs are lower than they were pre-recession. What do you actually see?
Good flat land is hard to come by, so a lot of your sites are very difficult and challenging right now. So, and then with the higher number of trailer storage requirements and employee parking requirements, got a lot more site work to get these buildings to a flat level site. So that has been lowering the overall coverage for the sites. So it's just become a little bit more expensive. We're seeing increases in both steel and concrete right now as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I looked at labor and materials, and what's going to happen is there's so much new construction in everything, whether it's apartments or industrial or office, retail, everything, that construction costs got to go up for labor and materials. They got to go up.
Yeah. And what do you see in Sim as far as developers and users finding the land they need? Like you said, it's hard to find these big flat pieces of land, and we've got some malls and large retail properties that are suffering. What are you seeing there? You seeing some industrial uses there?
Well, what's happening is you're starting to see a reverse trend where you've had retail bought up all the industrial land way back when. Now it's going the other way around because e-commerce is taking it on the internet and not in the store. So I recently sold a mall that used to have a Macy's and a JCPenney's and Sears in it, and they rezoned it, and they're going to build an e-commerce building on it. So if you want to build big buildings, you're going to go farther out, you know, because you can't find the land, because you can't have a creek running through the middle of it.
Right. That's interesting. So when I list my next large retail property that's in distress, I may need to call you, right? Get you to help me with it.
I'll give you my card.
That's great. Well, what else are you seeing in the construction side and the new development side that's a trend today?
Well, certainly the parking requirements are ramping up. The LEED certification is pretty standard now. We're doing 2 spec buildings that are both LEED certified in the Atlanta market, and we're doing that around the country. Most of our new spec buildings are going to be LEED certified. Making sure that you have functionality in the building with clear height, the lighting requirements, so that those things are going to last for quite a while and not become functionally obsolescent.
All right, well, that's great. We're going to have more on the industrial market, so stay with us. We're going to talk about the investment sales market and some more occupier strategies. I'm Michael Bull. This is the Commercial Real Estate Show. We'll be right back.
The Commercial Real Estate Show is brought to you by Florida International University and Bull Realty Commercial Brokerage, a great place to do business. For more information on these companies or to access additional podcasts, videos, or blogs, visit commercialrealestateshow.com.